I barely even know what radios I even have anymore because over the past couple months I've had so many come and go. So I'm going to do a two-part video where I show you all my collection. As it stands right now. One thing I will note, well, two things. One, apologies for the no light. My red light's burnt out and my phone's too warm to use the flash apparently. And lock the door. Second thing I noticed, the rest of my radios are in a different building, in a different CWA, 225 miles away. So you can't see, but the first radio we got here is the Vector VEC-130B, which currently does not have enough battery charge to run the weather radio, but it does have enough to run the AM/FM. I'll put on AM, actually.
Much respect to Coach Reagan Fairmont.
Regan and me to talk about our new Good Power, making positive change in our lives, work, and world. How we lead today has a lot to do with what we experienced in the past.
And the reason why I have this here is that, for some reason, the only radio I've tried on my end deck that doesn't cause major interference is another Vector radio, the VEC-438. So I brought the 130B back to try that with it. Speaking of, here's the Sage, and this thing is still haven't gotten to vacating running because then had to deal with the funeral on it stuff and some equipment issues. And this thing's currently connected. Its only monitor right now is the Vector on WVAF. I think I've received anything other than a weekly in so long. This is the latest audio in the buffer.
This is a test of the West Virginia Emergency Alert System. In the event of an actual emergency, this system would bring you important information. This concludes this statewide required monthly test.
Yeah, and it currently does not have paper because ran out of paper. I've got like half a dozen more rolls, but I need to cut them down to size because they're a little too wide. There's a cable mess on top of it, and over here to the right of it is my ever annoying Vector VEC-438, which is acting as my sole FM monitor on this. If I unplug the headphone cable. It gets better if I put it in the right spot, but it's good enough. So yeah, that's on that. So now if we get up and head over to the bed, so I did get two radios in last night, and difficult what I want to do with them. I.e., where do I put them? So we start here at the right. We've got my AlertWorks AR-10 in the front.
After the very dry, freezing finish to the weekend on Sunday, high pressure gradually sliding east of the region.
The first one was actually my first ever SAME compatible radio, and I don't know what happened to it. Second one, about a year ago, had the entire speaker circuit died. This one seems to be good. It has the iffy speaker, but I mean, all of them do.
Flurries until midnight, then a chance of snow showers after.
Works good. It's on WX84, very consistent activator. Behind it, which you can't see anything, is my 261. This is an 04 model.
Snow 40%. Sunday, mostly sunny.
Ever faithful activator. Next thing is my Recom R1650C.
Hour. Sunday night, mostly.
That's in WX84, and if I switch
For the
bands,
CMA Music Fest, which is June 8th.
that's my WQBE FM monitor. Next, that's probably the rarest radio I own now. A Radio Shack 12-256 asterisk. Yeah, that's a blown speaker right there. Those are yourselves in good enough shape. no antenna damage or nothing like that. Got the original power supply. I'm going to try and see if I can replace the speaker in this. Because on Weather Band,
20 miles an hour with gusts up to 30 miles an hour.
sounds like my first 240. But looks good enough. Got the time set on it. Only radio one that has that. Next to that is my currently unplugged 991, which actually belongs up at school. I've just been forgetting to pack it up past couple weeks. And all this on the wall is my first alert, which is also unplugged. The base 150 normal pitch. This thing, it only picks up a signal if, you know, you've done a rain dance on a Tuesday after eating a chicken taco. Yeah, it's iffy. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I'm not sure about it. I don't know. And then, to the left is my oldest radio in my collection now. The Realistic 12140. I wish this one was the Tandy branded one, but it's realistic, but it's good enough for me. I do not have my 240 anymore. I gave it to someone that could use it. You know who you are. Good friend of mine. Actually, best friend of mine. And he has that along my 105 XL, which my 105 was iffy. It didn't get anything on FM. He's actually got it to work on AM somehow. But I'm going to siren test on this review. It's about 140. And just like a 105. Down here, I've also got my 300 version 5, which is not plugged in. It's just currently sitting here. Take it back up to school soon. Also, my zone guard's on the wall, and the reason it's unplugged right now is because I'm starting on kind of a hacked together power supply, because the original brick died, so I chopped the brick off another cable and had my CSR teacher splice it in. Reverse the polarity because this thing needs center positive and it was a center negative power supply. But the problem is that it actually happened to be a noisy brick. I have a variable power supply with swappable tips that you can set the polarity on up at school, and I'm going to bring that back and see if that runs it, because that was causing interference to that, and also to the 140. The 140 is just interference prone because it's older. And I think it's because, you know, I've got a power station sitting like less than a foot away from it. So.
0.01. Bluetooth 0.03.
Yeah. That's all the radios that I have here. Nice. Join me tomorrow for part 2, if I remember to record.